Hello, we're glad to have you join us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. The Presidential Election Petition Court has struck out the petition filed by Action Alliance challenging the election of Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress. Now, this followed the motion for withdrawal filed by the parties. Austin Ayembe reports.
The Presidential Election Petition Court before its inaugural sitting in Abuja had 5 petitions to adjudicate on. However, upon commencement of pre-hearing conference, Counsel to Action Alliance, Madubuchi, moved a motion for withdrawal of their petition, which was not opposed by any of the respondents, and subsequently struck out. The other 2 petitions held by the panel of 5 justices led by the presiding justice of Abuja Division, Justice Haruna Simon Samani, include that of the Action People's Party and Peter Gregory Obi and Labour Party, all the petitioners challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential election, which produced Bola Tinubu as the president-elect. Both counsel to the petitioners and the respondents told the court that answers have been provided to the questions posed to them in a pre-hearing form which they adopted. A 5-man panel of justices led by Justice Haruna Samani, who earlier tasked counsel on speedy adjudication on the petitions, adjourned Wednesday 10th May 2023 for further pre-hearing of the petitions by the Action People's Party and Labour Party, while petitions by Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Allied People's Movement will be heard Tuesday 9th May 2023.
The pre-trial hearing is expected to last for 2 weeks, after which the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal will issue a report which will guide the subsequent proceeding.
The court has 180 days from the date of announcement of the winner of the presidential election to adjudicate over all the petitions. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, Osun, NTA News.
Still from the judiciary, the Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the Osun State governorship appeal instituted by the former governor, Gboyega Oyetola, against the victory of the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, till Tuesday 9th May 2023. The Apex Court fixed the date for the verdict after taking arguments from parties involved in the matter. At the center of the disputed election conducted on July 16th, 2022, is the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, who stood for the poll on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, and Gboyega Oyetola, who was the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate. The Osun Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in January 2023 nullified the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke, a verdict Adeleke appealed against. The Court of Appeal in Abuja on Friday, March 24th, vacated the tribunal's verdict that nullified the election of Governor Ademola Adeleke of Osun State. The verdict, which the Supreme Court will deliver on Tuesday, 9th May 2023, forecloses all adjudications on the conduct of the 2022 governorship election in Osun State. The National Industrial Court has ordered the reinstatement of one Fumilayo Omosule to his position as a manager with the federal government-owned Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority Administration. Now, the claimant had challenged his 2011 suspension in court, and presiding Justice Olufunke Anuwe agreed that the suspension was an unlawful act, ordering that all his entitlements from the date of the suspension should be paid to him.
It was a good judgment and we appreciate it, even if the court did not agree that he be promoted, because the issue of his certificate, which was the reason why we came to court, the court said he had no powers to verify that.
His erstwhile employee has argued that Omosule was suspended for not presenting his original certificates for verification, but the claimant said the documents were lost. Let's shift our attention to the legislature. A week-long capacity-building workshop for 10th Assembly senators and members-elect has commenced. It is meant to expose them to legislative practices and procedures as the inauguration of the 10th Assembly draws near. Some of the topics being treated are constitutional mandate, structure and operations, powers of the Nigerian legislature, and parliamentary immunities, among others.
To put them through an oversight. We have retreats for leadership of each committees.
This is the best induction for somebody that is coming into a terrain that he has not been there before, for him to acclimatize himself and be able to catch up with those that are there already.
As a lawmaker who moved to the Red Chamber, I believe we will perform wonderfully to enhance peace and security and the development of this country.
Begin to learn the rudiments of legislation, the rudiment of legislative proceedings, right from the sitting, even from the sitting arrangement. How do you get to the chambers? What do you do when you get there? When a motion is to be moved, how do you do that? So you will expect these new members taking a very good advantage of this training.
The session is being held in two phases, with both senators and members House of Reps select participating.
That has its own nuances and values. And so these are the things that is being taught here, how the National Assembly runs.
Is to acquaint new members with the rudiments of lawmaking, the process of legislation, how to, your power, first of all, your powers as a member of the National Assembly.
And I believe that this current induction should be like a continuous review of what has happened in the 9th Assembly.
So it helps in capacity building to help you know what lawmaking is all about.
The induction, held after each election cycle, is being organized by management of the National Assembly, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies and Policy, and Advocacy Legislative Center. In a bid to ensure adequate provision of potable water to the people of Nasarawa town and its environs, the federal government has rehabilitated the Nasarawa water supply scheme in Nasarawa Local Government Council of Nasarawa State at a cost of 1 billion naira and handed over to the Nasarawa State government for operation and maintenance. Joshua Kigbo reports that the water supply scheme has a capacity for 3 million liters per day.
Nasarawa Water Treatment Plant in Nasarawa Local Government Council of Nasarawa State was constructed 45 years ago. However, the 2020 flood destroyed the water supply scheme. With the rehabilitation of the plant, the water supply scheme will serve 200,000 residents of Nasarawa town and its environs. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu advises the community to take ownership of the facilities to ensure sustainability.
Federal intervention is meant to accelerate access to potable water in the country towards meeting national and international set targets.
Nasarawa State Governor, represented by the Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe, reiterates state government commitment to implement peoples-oriented projects that will have direct bearing on the lives of the citizens.
The project will no doubt provide the needed enabling environment in order to improve the living standard of the people through water supply and improve agricultural practices.
Emir of Nasarawa Ibrahim Usman Jibrin applauds federal government intervention in the water sector and encourages people to support government at all levels to attract development.
The federal government says more than 2 million people and firms across the country have so far benefited from the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus, that is NGCARE's program, within its 1 year of full implementation. Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, made this known at a ministerial town hall meeting with stakeholders in Abuja, where the World Bank approved extension of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program by 1 year to allow for increased drawdown of the credit.
The federal government once again wishes to restate its commitment to restoring the livelihoods of poor and vulnerable Nigerians, maintain food security and facilitate the recovery of MSMEs. The NGCARES program is one of the policy options explored by our administration to achieve these objectives.
That is why just within the space of about a year, less than a year of full implementation, we are able to generate results worth 77.2 billion naira. So I mean, this is spectacular and it is a landmark achievement. The initial challenge was that of making people to believe that it was possible. You know, at the beginning, as chairman of the technical committee, people were thinking is another foreign now has come, another government project has come, and nothing was going to happen. But this one, we delivered.
Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria have advocated unification of multiple Forex windows as part of deliberate policies required to stabilize the nation's currency. Talking about the naira, they urged the incoming administration to also address the imbalance between demand and supply of Forex to mitigate further depreciation of the naira. Lydia Sampson reports.
Some of the guests describe the foreign exchange as the oxygen through which nations breathe. They note that foreign exchange is suffocating in Nigeria and drastic measures are required to mitigate negative effects on the naira.
The foreign reserve has dwindled to 35 billion. The excess crude account, the ECA, is zero. I think the last we checked is somewhere around $35 million, which is neither here nor there. So you will realize that the two edges of the sword are sharpening and deeply inflicting into our system.
The ability of the Central Bank of Nigeria to defend the naira, to ensure stability as is most desired, is very limited. And so we find that the demand pressure that has caused so much depreciation of the naira in the foreign exchange market is still very much there.
They urge the incoming administration to think out of the box on strengthening the naira and not always rely on the advice of global financial institutions with vested interests.
Economic management of this government has been, they have also tried to reposition. Let's be fair to them. It's easy to just come and castigate and just say, oh, they've done everything, but no, they haven't done everything bad. In fact, some of the things they've done has positioned the next government for success. And we are putting measures to mitigate those weaknesses. So are we willing and ready to work with the incoming government? We have the key. We have the solution. I want to go with Dr. Patricia that we should not be pessimistic.
For the girls, all hope is not lost in pursuing the recovery of the naira, but they believe pruning down more than 6,000 bureau de change operators to license only the big players will be a step in the right direction. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Pensioners in Nigeria are being sensitized against the antics of fraudsters in pension administration in the country. Now, these and more are issues that dominated a stakeholders' engagement in Akure, organized by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, in its determination to keep pensioners in the southwest abreast of development with the old pension scheme and resolve payment challenges. Toyin Batire will tell us more.
Periodically, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate organizes stakeholders forum to update pensioners on the activities of PTAD and future plans. The journey from field verifications and mobile verifications to putting together a solid database of pensioners, benefit computation, ensuring the regular payment of monthly pensions, and paying long overdue pension arrears to pensioners are some of the PTAD core mandates. Excited pensioners who spoke with NTA crew say Peter has taken them away from being beggars.
There was no owing of pensioners by Peter in the past, but this one improved better.
Pensioners in the past were made to go through rigorous and tortuous screening processes that has led to the death of some pensioners who are not sound. But this particular device now makes it possible for pensioners to do screening in their own homestead.
Executive Secretary of PITAD, Chema Echikeme, said giant strides have been made and will not relent in ensuring that pensioners no longer go through stress to access their funds.
A life confirmation solution, it's a web-based solution where a pensioner can, in the comfort of his home or within his neighborhood, use a smartphone to be able to confirm his aliveness or computer system.
Following the launch of the I Am Alive confirmation solution and the successful completion of the pilot, PITAD has consistently been working on achieving positive and sustainable change in the Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS, and pension since its inception in 2013. In Akure, Tony Batire, NT News.
From Akure, we'll cross into Lagos to join Michael. He'll pick up with the next set of reports from his end. Michael?
Thank you, Ruth. The rainy season has started with associated flooding presenting challenges for residents of Lagos, a coastal state. Terrifying experiences they often encounter make them dread the onset of rains. Dana Jale in this report takes a look at the effect of flooding in Lagos State and preventive measures.
In Nigeria and most parts of West Africa, the rainy season is usually between the months of April and September every year. The pattern doesn't follow this way always, particularly with the sometimes unpredictable effects of climate change. More worrisome is the flood disasters that come with the season. Loss of lives and property have been recorded several times.
Anytime it rains, no matter the rain, there is always flood coming down from Ilupeju towards Mushi.
With the hydrological prediction that some states in Nigeria, Lagos inclusive, will likely experience more rainfalls and flooding in 2023. How prepared are Lagos residents in cushioning the effects of flooding?
We make sure we clear the drainages and we don't allow people to put dirty in the drainage.
Government should do their home part too, because most of the things they are throwing in the gutters, if they don't see the people that will pack it on time, they prefer putting it in the gutters.
The case of Ikate community, Agungi and its environs in Lekki area of Lagos is a combination of flash flood and ocean surge effect.
All other stakeholders need to do something apart from the clearing of drainage. We must adhere to warnings. Daily weather reports and climate information must be listened to and adhered to. Our school children should be prevented from roaming around when they close from school or when they are going to school.
Despite awareness campaigns to check wrong disposal of waste in drainages to ensure free flow of flood waters, many residents still litter the environment with refuse that most times clog drainage channels.
We need to inform people on the negative effect of dumping the waste in the drains or leaving the environment unclean.
Respondents agree that proper implementation of laws and more proactive flood control measures would go a long way in mitigating perennial flooding in the state. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
In line with Montreal Protocol, Nigeria is in the third stage of the phase-out management plan of hydrochlorofluorocarbon, an ozone-depleting compound. With this in view, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization and the Federal Ministry of Environment have organized a roundtable with stakeholders on how to achieve the phase-out plan. Larry Bilei has details.
hydrofluorocarbon, HCFC, was once considered a novel discovery used in refrigerators and air conditions, until it was discovered that over time, the release of the chemical compound depletes the ozone layer. The signing of an international agreement called the Montreal Protocol is in the forefront of efforts to stop the usage of environment-damaging substances that deplete the ozone, and HCFC is right in that alley.
The alternatives, HFCs, they do not deplete the ozone layer but have high global warming potentials. That is where the Montreal Protocol was now amended in Kigali.
We are going to take steps in partnership with the Nigerian government, majorly through the National Ozone Office, to stop the usage of R22 for the manufacturing sector.
And that is to be able to completely phase out 344.9 ozone depleting potentials of HCFCs.
As part of the phase-out management plan, stakeholders and those in the formal and informal sector involved in production, repair, and sales of refrigerators and air conditioners are to rub minds on strategies to adopt and trainings needed.
Yes, so for informal sector, I believe they should come together. I really encourage them to join the associations or form them together so that they can learn from each other.
From state to state, we have followed up and we have been able to live up to expectation about our own side of the bargain.
Alternative compounds have been advocated, such as a variety of hydrofluorocarbons that have lower global warming potential. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, Nationwide continues from our Sokoto Network Center, where Sadia is standing by. Please stay.
Glad you joined us. Sokoto State Police Command has assured residents of visibility policing, patrol, and radio passport any emergency. State Police Commissioner Ali Hayatu said this while addressing officers and men of the command. Lalata Abdullahi has details.
Right, we apologize for the poor signal from our Sokoto Network Center. We'll pick up from here. The Ministry of Mines and Steel Development has presented certificates to 19 universities accredited by the Council of Nigerian Mining Engineers and Geoscientists (COMEC), offering programs in the Nigeria extractive industry professions. Minister of Mines and Steel Development Olamilekun Adegbite notes that the renewed effort at regulating the training of professionals in the extractive industry being carried out by the federal government has reduced the level of involvement by unprofessionals in the field and appealed to accredited institutions to be diligent in the training of the students.
When I came to the ministry, COMEC was in tatters, was being superintended by somebody from the ministry, director from the ministry, who was fully occupied and did not have time for COMEC. And we set out to correct that. I'm proud to say that you guys are COMEC, you are doing very well.
The exercise will afford the management of such institutions the opportunities to retool where necessary and to facilitate procurement of additional teaching aids and laboratory facilities where such a fund is sufficient.
All right, let's rejoin our Sokoto Network Center. The signal we hear, it's clearer now.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Sokoto State Police Command has assured residents of visibility policing, patrol and raiding of black spots to eradicate any emerging threats. Newly posted Police Commissioner Ali Hayatu Kaigama said this while addressing officers and men of the command. Lalata Abdullahi has details.
Addressing area commanders, tactical and divisional officers, the newly posted Police Commissioner Ali Hayatu Kaigama said this marks the beginning of a new dawn in fighting crime and criminality in Sokoto State. He enjoined officers of the command to continue to be professional and dedicated to their duties diligently with passion and vigor. CP Kaigama further said, following the insecurity challenges facing the state, particularly the eastern Sokoto, he believes that the command cannot do it alone, but will collaborate with sister security agencies and critical stakeholders to achieve the desired objectives. He solicited the support and cooperation from members of the public in the fight against crime and criminality.
Major towns across the state and public places will enjoy visibility policing, patrol and raiding of black spots in order to eradicate violent crimes, thuggery, communal clashes and any other emerging threats.
The command will also engage and strengthen the services of PCRC at all levels, calling on all to support the security agencies by way of contributing intelligence, as security is everybody's business. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government, UNICEF and other development partners have flagged off a career fair and COVID-19 vaccine uptake campaign with the aim of addressing the viral disease across the globe. The sensitization on the COVID-19 vaccination campaign at Osun University, Sokoto, targeted students of the university and the larger community. Lat Abdullahi reports.
These are students of Osun University Sokoto receiving COVID-19 vaccination with the aim of curbing the menace. Some of the students promised to champion the campaign, urging those who have not received the vaccination to do so to stop the spread of the disease.
To prevent me and prevent others from spreading it, it does not have any implication.
This vaccine does not make any ill to our body.
Sokoto State Commissioner for Health, represented by Deputy Director of Public Health, Dr. Hadiza Yarubo Inga, said the State Ministry of Health has made a lot of commitments toward addressing the spread of COVID-19 since the outbreak of the disease.
Some of the students have even taken up the vaccination even before today, but still we saw a huge turnout of clients.
UNICEF Health Manager Dr. Shamina Shamin and other development partners, as well as Vice Chancellor of University Sokoto, represented by Deputy Dean Students Affairs of the institution, Dr. Tukur Mukhtar Yabo, commended the effort of the development partners, saying that the idea is to enable the students to get vaccinated and extend the sensitization campaign to the larger society.
We are sensitizing our young population, the students who can be the vaccine champion, who can send the correct message, reliable message to the community.
We are very sure from the angle of the management of the university that they will do their best to mobilize other students.
The occasion featured career presentations for the students. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from this end. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Sadia. And still on health, accessing healthcare services with financial security by Nigerians dominated discussions at a 3-day retreat by stakeholders in the health insurance sector. Basita Ipang reports that the retreat, which has as its theme Nigeria Health Insurance Ecosystem, the place of ProHealth HMO Limited, took place in Nasarawa State.
Sustainable Development Goal 3 seeks, among other things, to achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection and access to quality healthcare services for all. For Nigeria to achieve this goal is the reason for this meeting in Nasarawa State. The Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, was represented.
This retreat is a unique opportunity for all of us to deliberate on issues affecting the Nigerian health insurance sector, with a particular focus on the role of ProHealth HMO Limited.
The retreat was an opportunity for newly appointed board members and management of Pro Health HMO Limited to strategize on how to provide better services to Nigeria and their enrollee, and to educate Nigerians on the benefits of the insurance scheme established by the federal government.
The importance of health insurance in Nigeria can never be overemphasized, as it cushions the potential negative impacts of the persistent underfunding in the health sector.
Nigeria Health Insurance Act have provided quite a number of things. So those are the issues that we want to understand fully, go through it, and support every Nigerian through this process.
Other speakers stressed the need for the availability of funds for health needs in the country in line with the provisions of universal health coverage. Basi Taipan, NTA News.
The National Inland Waterways Authority has ordered the immediate demolition of all unapproved structures within its right-of-way in Onitsha. Managing Director of the agency, Dr. George Mogalu, gave the directive when he inspected activities in the federal government property managed by the agency in Onitsha, Anambra State. Uchenna Nwekulu reports.
The Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Dr. George Mogalu, was in Onitsha to inspect the proposed site for the establishment of Maritime Institute by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. He explained that NIWA is yet to receive proper application identifying the size of land required for the project. The NIWA boss, who inspected other activities within his right-of-way, ordered the immediate demolition of all unapproved structures springing up in the land.
We've gone to the site, we've looked at it, we've identified the area that is required for the project, and then we have given them consent. But what we are saying is the formal application has to be made. The design of what is going to be done there has to be provided. NIWA will now do the survey.
Dr. Mogalu also said the agency has continued to maintain navigation channels across the inland waterways with a view to ensuring the continuous viability of maritime transportation.
Nigeria has over 10,000 kilometers of waterways. As we speak, it's only about 8,008 or thereabout that is all year round navigable. Are you getting me? So what we are doing is to make sure that the 3,000 and some fraction that is all year navigable is actually all year round navigable.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, had proposed the establishment of Maritime Institute in Onitsha, Anambra State, to build capacity for its staff and major players within the sector. In Onitsha, Uchenna Nwekulu, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency is utilizing a capacity building workshop to put in perspective the federal government's policy framework and national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism in Nigeria for adequate community engagement. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
The policy framework and national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism was officially gazetted in August 2017. The essence is for relevant agencies to key into the non-kinetic strategy to prevent and counter violent extremism, as well as engage in the reintegration and reconciliation program.
Federal government of Nigeria approach in implementing policy framework and national action plan is not just state alone, it's whole of government and whole of society. And when I'm talking about that, NOA is critical stakeholder in doing that. They play a role in sensitization. They equally help in strategic communication.
The National Orientation Agency is building the capacity of staff for proper understanding of program and what is required of them.
And if you are here to enlighten you on how to prevent violence extremism, it's good for us to know what pushes them and what pulls them into it.
A citizens engagement agency. So our engagement actually is really at the community level.
Capacity building is continuous exercise for NOA personnel in the 774 local government areas of the Federation. Omeka Machuku, NTA News.
Wife of the Inspector General of Police, Hajara Alkali Baba, is taking necessary steps towards ensuring that the spouses of police officers and men are medically fit to take care of the home front. To achieve this, the wife of the IGP and wives of state commissioners of police embark on a sensitization road work in Abuja. Francis Pham reports.
These are wives of commissioners of police, DIGs, and the wives of sister security agencies such as the Air Force, Navy, and the Army. They are at the Poor Model School pit to keep fit. The exercise, which is at the instance of the IGP's wife, is to encourage the women to imbibe the habit of exercising regularly.
It fits to be you, because if it's not you, nobody knows you more than yourself. But the exercise will make you to know that yes, this is you. The moment you do exercise, you are sound. You'll be happy always. So it's important that
the women were exposed to lifestyle medicine as well as taking care of the health needs of their spouses and children in their hands for a healthy family.
And why do we bring this? Why are we talking about this health now? It's so that we prevent chronic diseases such as hypertension, such as diabetes, which are usually, that usually come as a result of stress. So you manage your stress, you manage your health, you manage your life, so that you live a better qualitative and quantitative life now and even in the future.
And this football match between the CP's wives and wives of sister security agencies is also part of keeping fit in line with POA's agenda. Francis from NTA News.
Fitness for wellness. Let's join Maiduguri, and Ladidi is set to take us on reports there. Ladidi?
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Maiduguri. Theatre Commander Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Ibrahim Salo Ali says, study tour by participants of National Institute of Security Studies to the command is critical and timely towards improving synergy amongst security agencies for the success of the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast. General Ali stated this when he received members of the National Institute for Security Studies Abuja at the headquarters Theatre Command Operation Hadinkai in Maiduguri. Memuna Garba reports.
As part of the study tour requirements, the course participants of the National Institute for Security Studies Abuja visited Theatre Command Operation Hadinkai to get first-hand information on the security situation and ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast region. This became necessary as the course entails imparting the required security knowledge to address the dynamics and complex security challenges in the country. Theatre Commander Operation Hadinkai, Major General Ibrahim Salo Ali said the tour will increase the participants' horizon, especially with the operational brief and presentations.
It is one crucial way of improving synergy between the agencies, which is very critical in the success we need to achieve, especially in Northeast, in the counter-terrorist, counter-insurgency operations we've been conducting.
We find out that Maiduguri is as peaceful as we are seeing it, not the way we are hearing it outside here.
The knowledge gained here this afternoon will be put to positive use.
The team proceeded to Mafa local government area, another resettled community where participants interacted with the populace. They equally interfaced with the council members on the implementation and achievement of the SDGs goals in the area, as well as efforts in sustaining the interventions, among others. The participants who inspected Mapa Grazing Zone, Borno State Vocational Enterprise Institute and the State Agricultural Mechanization Agency to assess commitment and efforts of Borno State government in post-insurgency and stabilization era. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Growing complexities of
the much we can take from Maiduguri Network Center. Let's go on a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Nasarawa State Government has approved the appointment of former Chief Judge of the state, Justice Ahmed Obongari, as the new RN Egon. Ali Tujani reports that his emergence followed the demise of the former Chief Judge Bala Abene Angbazo last year.
The stool of Aregon has been vacant, and behold, the new paramount ruler, who ascends the throne of his forebearers, while Justice Ahmed Ubangari secured 2 votes to emerge as the new Aregon. His closest contender got 1 vote. The State Council of Chiefs ratified the selection of the new traditional ruler by the kingmakers with subsequent approval by the state government.
This gentleman has paraded a pedigree that will qualify him, will make him fit and proper for the person to occupy the exalted stool of the Aregon.
So with this, we have finally approved, the selection as was done by the 3 kingmakers, and I want, on behalf of the government, to wish the new Aregon, a wonderful and successful reign.
The new Aregon, Justice Ahmed Ubangari, served as Chief Judge from 1997 to 2010. The new Aregon has since been coronated at the Aregon Palace, Nasarawa local government area of the state. Elafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
We'll cross over to Port Harcourt now to join Gabrielle. She has some reports for us. Gabrielle?
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The importance of the library cannot be overemphasized. Even with the emergence of the digital world, the library still remains a gateway to knowledge. How important is the library, and do people still visit the facility? Well, Dibabra Sedamamweke has status of this.
Libraries are major sources of information that aid societal development, and they also serve as a place where the public can access certain information. Although the advent of the digital world seems to be having an impact on it, the libraries are still a reliable place where people can access the information they need. Libraries also helps to promote good reading culture.
Now that information is the greatest power in the whole world, you can't do without the library. And I've made some research that I couldn't do even online because there are books that are restricted. So such found here in the library, and I think it has really upgraded.
It's very important to have books on the shelves, but we are in an age where everything should be modernized. Books should move from the shelves to the internet so people can have easy access. It should provide comfort as much as it's providing information.
Internet can never take over the function of National Library or any other library. It can only give it a little scratch. For instance, there are indigenous publications in Nigeria, locally published materials that have not been uploaded to the internet. Millions and billions of them. So, though the patrons will equally want to have access to all these materials, but they can't find them in the internet, so they will still come to the library.
Most of the time, there are some books that actually illustrate some things, because if it comes to courses like architecture or something like that, there are some books that they illustrate the drawings and this thing, so you can just take key points from them and understand what you are doing.
Proponents of developing good reading culture are calling on relevant authorities to invest more in public libraries and make them more attractive to meet the yearnings of book lovers. In Port Harcourt, Dibabra Sedamamweke, NTA News.
The Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe has reiterated commitments towards sustained fight against oil theft and other forms of criminality in the Niger Delta, and build on the results already achieved. Rear Admiral Eugene Ferreira made the commitment while taking over from Rear Admiral Aminu Hassan as the new commander of the task force in Yenegua. Tina Priya reports.
The handover of the flag signifies a change of baton as the Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe, as Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira takes over from Rear Admiral
San as new commander. Rear Admiral Ferraria commended his predecessor for the successes recorded in the fight against crime and criminality in the Niger Delta. He promised to improve on the achievements through sustained sanitizing of the environment. The new commander advised perpetrators to desist from crime and engage in lawful ventures, as the task force would not condone any form of criminality in the region.
The fact that so much has been achieved and the environment has been sanitized, it doesn't mean the elements out there have gone to sleep. We must remain resolute in sustaining the current climate out there.
Outgoing commander of Operation Delta Save, Rear Admiral Aminu Hassan, had earlier commended officers and component commanders of the task force for their efforts in the achievements recorded under his command.
The name of Nigeria has been removed from the list of piracy-prone areas and the Gulf of Guinea as well. That is by the International Maritime Bureau. It's an achievement, and by the grace of God, the incoming commander is going to sustain that.
While appreciating the Bayelsa State government and other critical stakeholders for their high level of understanding and cooperation he enjoyed. Timinopre, Ohia, NTA News. And that's our contribution from Port Harcourt. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Gabriel, and we're taking sports update next.